What is happening, everybody? My name is Beth and welcome back to Every Day is Spooktober. Now we are back with the last and final VHS film. It has been a minute since I filmed. Apologies, I've been very ill, but we are back. And yeah, I watched VHS 99 a couple weeks ago, so I've been over with this franchise now, obviously just waiting for the 2023 VHS to come out. And it's kind of sad that it's over. Well, it's not over, but you know what I mean. It's over for the time being, and it kind of sucks because I have been living for these VHS films. They've been so fun to watch and so entertaining. We're just gonna get straight into VHS 99. Just little heads up for those of you who maybe do really like this one. I really did not like this one, and it's definitely the weakest of the bunch. So let's just get into it. Let's review and talk about VHS 99. So this one came out in 2022, so it's, you know, it's very modern, and also VHS 99 set in the 1990s, which obviously is such a fun era. And you know, I thought with the sort of twist of having a film made in the 1990s, like having that throwback nostalgic feeling from when you were a kid and seeing that, it's always so fun to see films that, you know, bring you back to sort of that moment. However, a lot of these short film VHS films within the film, they just didn't live up to the other ones whatsoever. I found that every single short film was very much like trying to be funny, trying to be quirky. This VHS 99 is definitely, in my opinion, classed more as a dark comedy than the other ones. I think the other VHS ones are definitely taken more seriously, are more horrifying or more bloody, they're more over the top. Whereas this one is more like very like on the nose and like throwing jokes in there and here, and like it just, because the characters weren't taking these situations that they were in so seriously, or like, you know, it wasn't portrayed to be as scary as it was, it just made this entire film not scary at all. This is definitely the least scary out of all of them, so if you are looking for a good scare, do not come to this one. If you are a fan of black comedies, then could definitely come to this one. If you have been following my channel and previous videos, I do not like dark comedies. I hate, or black comedies, or whatever you want to call them. I really don't like them. I'm not a fan. I don't really get the like humor in horrifying situations. I just think it's quite dumb. I think it's quite silly, and it just doesn't entertain me. It's just not my kind of thing. So it was quite disappointing to kind of, and as the films were going on and we were seeing what we had here, it was very upsetting to sort of see the complete different vibe that this one had compared to the others. You know, every sort of VHS film starts with a baseline story, and then we have mini horror films embedded throughout of them. This one was very different. That wasn't really like a base story. There was just short films being thrown at us and not having any sort of connection to a backstory or anything like that. You know, I'll briefly talk about each of these short films. I know this 99 didn't do that well in terms of rating and score, so I'm hoping they kind of take it back to the old roots, like the first and the second one, where it just was great, and the way that they did things made VHS what it was. So just to quickly go over all the short VHS tapes, obviously we open the film and it's like a short stop motion thing that's going on. We've got some guy moving these army soldiers and voicing these, doing voices for them, and they're like at war. There's not a ton of context as to what is actually happening here, and we later find out that this beginning story is actually connected to one of the later stories, but there's no sort of link to, there's not any links to like the other short tapes. But it was kind of fun that there was like some stop motion and like someone narrating it. But when I first saw that, I was like, was like my first indicator to be like, right, this isn't going to be taken seriously, like I just know it. So we have like a short clip of that, and we like keep flashing back to this stop motion after a few tapes. But like I said, there's not really much context, so you're like, what the hell are we doing here? And then the first proper tape that we get into is called Shredding. This is the one with the punk band that basically we find out gets trampled at their own concert. because shit just went crazy, and we have like a wannabe like social media people, you know, who are a band also, who go to the place that they got trampled on, just to like mess around and like capture some footage for their like YouTube channels and stuff. This one, I like, there was nothing special about this one for me to be like I really like this or I don't like this at all. It was very mid in my opinion. I think like the punk band thing is kind of, it's kind of like a ghost story, like because they heard about this punk band and then they go to the location of it happening, and then it's quite predictable that the punk band that died comes back and then haunts these kids and then ends up killing them. Like I said, nothing special, wasn't that interested in the story. It was like, okay, a bunch of kids just messing around. Like we've seen this kind of story before in the franchise. And then the second one is Suicide Bid. This one has to be the best one in my eyes. It was the one that felt the most real, wasn't super like comedic and throwing jokes everywhere, and like there was moments of quite, you know, intensity, discomfort. Obviously it's a whole thing of this girl trying to fit in with the sorority girls, and in order to do it they put her in a coffin and bury her. Long story short, obviously the coffin gets flooded and she ends up drowning and dying because all the other girls leave her there because they see the police coming and they run away. So like I think with this one, it's like if you're claustrophobic, if you don't like spiders, you know what I mean, like that, if you have those kind of like quite common fears, it's definitely going to be a horrifying watch for those people. I mean, it wasn't necessarily for myself, but I can see like the intent there and like what they were trying to do, and I think that worked quite well. It did feel very discomforting to watch. It was quite off-putting. You know, I think at the end when like the girl who ends up dying gets her revenge, and all the other girls get locked in the coffins at the end and then they all die. I love that. I loved a bit of like, you know, get back to it, all that. I loved it. So yeah, definitely liked Suicide Bid, definitely top one out of all of these. And then the next one was Ozzy's Dungeon. This is obviously like that, it had that like 1990s game show vibe about it, which felt very nostalgic. But this is about like a guy who hosts a game show and kids have to like explore and get through this big sort of jungle set thing, and they have to beat each other in order to like get their final wish, and they can wish for anything. Long story short, one of the players, she ends up cutting her leg in half, loses her leg, and the host doesn't do anything about it, and the game show doesn't help or do anything about it. So this girl's family ends up capturing the game show host and then tortures him and puts him through loads of hell of like different traps and games and stuff. You know, I thought overall this one was really weird. There was a big revenge plot in this. I guess a lot of these stories, if you think about it, have to do with like revenge, and that's just sort of what I got from this. I think it's like a revenge film, I guess, if you want to say. But yeah, I don't know, I wasn't a massive fan of this. I thought it was quite cringy. I thought it, like, the acting was over the top. Like the mother of the daughter was like going absolute crazy, and I was like, okay, chill the fuck out, like just act normal, like stop overacting. And then at the end, obviously we end up, the girl ends up actually going to get her wish, and she just wishes that everyone just disappeared, which I thought was quite funny in itself. Obviously that was supposed to be very comedic and bring in that sort of dark comedy aspect, but yeah, for me, it didn't interest me, and it was just not my kind of thing and weird. And then the next one is The Gawkers. This is the story that actually embeds with the stop motion snippets at the beginning, and this comes into the story, and it's just about a bunch of young guys that are like perving on some guy, they're not gay, some girl across the street, and they're like watching her through the window, and they think she's so hot, and then they get one of the guys to go over and put a camera into her computer so they can watch her like have a shower and like all this stuff. I mean, title's pretty fitting, but yeah, this one felt very like mediocre, very childish, very like just silly, I guess you would say, not seriously at all. And then they sort of find out that this woman is actually like a creature that comes and backs and kills them all and turns them into stone. I forgot the name of the creature that does that, but yeah, she does that. I will put a picture of her up now. What are they called? I'll find out after this video what they're called, but she turns into one of those things with the snakes on the head and that puts people into stone. Yeah, this one was very dumb. I wasn't interested. I didn't really care for it. It was a bit boring, if I'm honest. And then number 5, the last one, was To Hell and Back, and this one completely lost me. This last one really did it for me and nicked it in the bud, where I was like, I fucking hate this entire film. Like, this has just made it 20 times worse. The beginning was interesting because they were like, there was a group of people and they were performing like some kind of seance on this woman who was like offering her body for like a demon to be sort of put in there. And I, at first I was like, okay, this is quite a fun one. Like, are they saving best till last? And then they accidentally mess up the ritual, and then the 2 of the guys that are in the group end up going to hell, and it's like a bunch of rock and like people, like weird people on this rock, and they're in hell, and the 2 main character guys, they're like trying to crack a joke every 2 minutes and like trying to make it funny, and like I just didn't care for it. I was like, this is too much. Like, I was like, I don't like this at all. I just wanted the film to end, and you know, it was predictable, it was silly, it just wasn't what VHS is about. So I really hated To Hell and Back. For me, that was probably the worst one out of the bunch. And then I think the suicide bid with the coffins was the best. The rest of them, pretty mid, maybe even below mid, whatever that is. I just had a really hard time engaging with these ones, like I said, mainly down to the fact that they completely changed this up and made the VHS tapes not as serious. And I mean, like, fair enough to the creators for doing something different, because there's definitely an audience for that like that kind of stuff, but it genuinely just wasn't for me, and I was really hoping to be thrilled and excited and, you know, buzzing about these weird, creepy-ass VHS tapes, but it just didn't do it for me, unfortunately. So, yeah, that's my review of VHS 99. I think if I'm rating this, I'd give it, like, a 3 out of 10. You know, that's really low, but unfortunately that's just where it hit for me. I believe I've rated VHS Viral about the same. I don't know if maybe I would push up VHS Viral now, because I do think it is slightly better than this one. But yeah, so disappointed that we didn't even get like a proper scary one within this. You know, I like I said, I'm really hoping VHS 23 is a bit of a step up, is a bit better than what we've just seen. But yeah, let me know what you guys thought of VHS 99. If you have seen it, I would like to know what people thought about it, and if they agree with me. If you don't, let me know in the comments. I would be interested to know people's ratings as well. You know, if you want me to do a ranking video of the VHS films, I'm happy to do that. We could talk a little bit more about in depth of the actual quality of the films. I know with my reviews, I've been sort of concentrating on like the short tapes embedded in the films rather than the film as a whole. So I'm happy to do that if you guys are interested at all. And we have many more reviews coming your way, and they will be posted as soon as possible. Apologies for the long pause on the uploading, but I will be back now. I have recovered, I am good. So yeah, thank you guys for watching this video. Do not forget to like and subscribe if you like this video, and I'll see you in the next one.